Monday morning. Good morning, Lana. What's up? It's 5 a.m. Are you guys getting up, being productive? Or are you guys laying in bed and, deciding to do something? Let's not forget to not be little girls, and you know what I mean by that. I'm not going to repeat the word. Yeah. Let's continue to be productive every day. Let's continue to stack those wins on a daily, stack them in a weekly, stack them on a monthly, and then, let's beat the year and stack the yearly wins. But with that being said, this is your host, MP, and behind the scenes,
AZ.
And today we have another interview. This is actually one that was kind of last minute, but it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that I'm kind of looking up to now because he's on the same space that I'm trying to be in, which is the podcast industry. He's already found success in the podcast industry. I'm obviously working my way up there. But, without further ado, here's my guest, Knomoe from the LITOUTLET podcast.
Yes, sir. What's poppin'? It's your boy Moses, a.k.a. Knomoe, right here chilling in the Latin Wealth podcast. Thank you for having me, dog. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you for stopping by, bro. I feel like, when it comes to these, mostly in our industry, when you have a lot of subscribers, sometimes you don't want to mess with the little guy, so I appreciate you taking the time and coming over here to...
Man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy you said that because I usually tell people that because I consider myself a super small channel too, a small creator still.
Really?
Yeah.
I see you and I'm like, okay, that's our next milestone or our next 2 milestones. We're only not that far away, but we're kind of far. You know what I'm saying?
I would say I consider myself still like a new channel because I feel like my channel transforms every few months. Like it's still changing, so it's always in its like. To me, it's still like a baby,
Yeah. And then not only that, but we're in the same community too. We're both Chicanos, right? We're both first generation Mexican Americans.
Facts.
And we're both doing podcasts, right? And then not only that, but we've already kind of had the same guests, right? I had Bozo on not too long ago. You had Bozo. I don't know how long.
I had Bozo twice. So I had Bozo maybe like a year ago, and then I had him maybe 8 months ago. 4 months, 6 months ago. But shout out to Bozo, man, because he's also a guy that's like he's well known. And he definitely brought a lot of traffic, and I've gotten a lot of success just from interviewing him because that Bozo actually changed my life too. When I interviewed him, like I don't know, I just feel like I was on a different tip, and he kind of like sometimes you need to get slapped around by your bigger brother, but not physically, just verbally, and like he kind of like straightened some things out in my head that I had going on. So a big shout out to Bozo,
Oh yeah, not only that, but I kind of. Found out about you through him because when I was going to interview him, I'm like, let me look up some of the older interviews and you came up.
Smart.
Right. And then, like I said, I seen yours and I'm like, damn, I actually like his podcast. It's one entertaining and one it's, I could actually sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, let me get a little bit about your background, bro. Where did you come from? How was your childhood? And then, we'll work our way up to how you got into podcasting.
All right, cool. So my parents are from Mexico. My dad's from Nayarit. My mom's from Zacatecas, and they both came over and they were around. My mom came when she was 9 and my dad came when he was 12. They showed up to like Pico Rivera, East LA area. My mom, a little bit more like South Central, maybe Southgate area too. But I have like, I'm first generation. So like, I was telling you before the podcast that like our parents sometimes want to raise us like we're still in the rancho and shit, but it's not their fault because that's all they know, right?
Of course.
So I came up with that old school Mexican mentality, getting hit with the special belt when you fuck up. I'm a middle child, I have an older sister, younger brother. But I was really into baseball for a long time, and supposedly like for a long time because I was really good. I'm a bigger Mexican, dog. I'm 6'2", I'm 300 pounds. Like I was always a big boy, and so. I was supposed to be a professional baseball player, dog. I'm still pretty good. Not as good as I should have been. But when that fell off, I was like kind of lost for a little bit, dog. And I don't know what to do with myself. But I've always had this love for like hip hop and also like underground culture, like anti-culture, like fuck the police. Let's go tag. Let's go drink. Let's go get fucked up. Let's do some crazy shit. Like
me too. Yeah.
I just didn't love structure when it came to like people telling me what to do. So I would just lean the opposite direction. And then, that led me into some trouble. And ended up in jail when I was 18. I got a strike and a felony right out the gate. Went to jail and shit. We got this stupid deal where like the first deal they gave us, like they were like, you're supposed to do 5 years in prison, strike and felony. And I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know you could say like no. So
yeah.
So the fucking the public defender, she's all like,
oh, you had a public defender? You didn't even have a lawyer?
Yeah, but she was really nice. She hooked me up, dog. Well, I have a crimey, so my crime partner had just had a baby, and he goes, hey fool, we got to take this next deal because I can't go down for 5 years. I want to be out for my baby. So the next deal, they're like, we're going to give you 6 months, but you have to take the strike and the felony, and then you'll be out in 3. So to me, I didn't understand the strike and felony thing, how much it would affect me. But we took that deal, did our time, came out. And then I went to a American Career College, dog, because I was, you know, sitting down watching Maury or Jerry Springer like at 10 in the morning in my fucking chonies and shit, eating cereal. And I couldn't get a job. Well, I applied to McDonald's. I applied to all these fucking places. Like, where can I work? I want to work, right? But what I did know is I didn't want to do construction, dog.
Yeah.
Because I'm big, but I'm lazy, dog. You know?
Yeah.
And so I went to ACC and I went to I got this program to optical dispensing, which is like sending glasses to the eye doctor.
Yeah.
So I did that for 12 years, and those businesses are really small businesses. Unless you work for like lens crafters, but they don't check your background. So I was flying low key. And then what that taught me is customer service, communication, and sales, you know? And I feel like in podcasting, like being able to carry a conversation, lead the conversation I owe that all to like getting that job. Cause, you know, I'm supposed to convince people to buy something that they need.
Of course.
But my job is to like break it down into like kid language so they can understand it and tell them why they need it, right? So like I like to live my life in the 5th grade vocabulary for the most part.
You have to create, this is how sales work. And you could correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously you're going to have more experience than I do, right? You create a problem, you take away the problem for them to, you know, want to find a solution, right? And then you sell them the solution back again.
Yeah, but
right?
it's also very easy because people come to the eye doctor because they have an eye problem.
Of course.
So
they already have a problem.
Yeah, some people come just because they have to, right? For school or for the DMV, whatever. Those people are different. But most people come because they can't see and shit.
So it's not even difficult to sell.
Yeah.
You're already there like,
And
this is for you.
I've been wearing glasses since I was 12 and I wear contacts, right? And so I know the experience of the up and down, learning how to wear contacts and not wanting to wear glasses. So, and I consider myself pretty swaggy. So I was really good at selling old ladies like expensive frames, you know, like Gucci and like fucking Tiffany frames, whatever the most expensive shit it was. I like that because I'm also very like, I like accolades. I like trophies. I like being the top salesman. I like being the best at what I do.
That's right.
You know, like I'm very ambitious. Whatever I do, I want to be the best.
You like competition.
I love competition, dog. Competition, you know, like iron sharpens iron. You feel me? Like,
hell yeah.
I like to go up against the best at whatever I do, you know, and I love being the underdog. Sometimes when you're like on top, you get a little lazy. And I already have a problem with being lazy.
Facts. It's something we talk about in entrepreneurship too, bro. That when you're on top, when you have momentum, you kind of, it gets to your head and you start, you're not
human,
the same.
You're human,
you know what I'm saying? That's why we need that competition. That's why people say your best friend's your enemy. Because your enemy's only going to get you like to be better. Like you said, a knife to a knife. It's going to sharpen each other.
Do you know Patrick Bet David?
Yeah.
So
I love that guy, bro.
It's funny because my content is really like street shit, you know, street shit or homie shit, or like, you know, I like to big up my community, Southgate. Shout out to Southgate, everybody from Southgate listening, shit, anybody from the Southeast LA area. But a lot of the content I consume is like Patrick Bet David, with this fool says like choose your enemies wisely. You feel me? Like you have to have an enemy or even if it's a make believe one, like what you're going up against. Because if you're just kind of lollygagging and just kind of like walking through life with no aim, that opens the door for like depression, anxiety. Like, you know, they say depression is like when you're focused on what happened in the past, and anxiety is you being worried about the future. Yeah, you know. So if you're always locked in on something, like usually you'll be good. Because I've you know, as a grown ass Mexican man, we're not supposed to talk about this shit, but like depression is real. You know, anxiety is real.
We can talk about it, bro, because at the end of the day,
real.
that's what I'm trying to preach, is like trying to be real about everything and trying to talk about like entrepreneurship, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is the most mind fucking game you could ever be in. You know what I'm saying? And then going to Patrick Bet David, bro, that's actually my idol.
Oh, yeah. So I fuck with him heavy.
The reason why Latin Wealth Club is Latin Wealth Club is because of valuetainment.
Yeah, fuck with
you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be the valuetainment of the Chicano scene.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to get to that point. And that's like the reason why I actually started my podcast, was literally solely based off Patrick Bet David.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've my goal, I told my girlfriend this since I started, I was like, my goal is to one day get a call from him like, hey, we like what you're doing. Can we interview you?
That'd be dope.
Like that's like my ultimate goal right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool that I didn't even know this, that you listen to him too.
Yeah.
But with that being said, bro, when did you actually start getting into podcasting?
You know what? I did music before podcasting. So whenever I like something, I'm the type of guy to be like, you know what? I think I could do that, and I could do it at a high level. So I was into music for a long time. Before I went to jail, me and the homies would like rap in a little closet and put our music on MySpace and shit like that. And
you're that old?
Yeah,
MySpace.
I'm fucking 30. I'm 33. Dog. I'm about to be 34. So I'm a 90s baby. You know.
That's right.
So like, you know, we had some good amongst our small circle of friends. You know, maybe like 200, 500 people, because I was part of a party crew back in high school.
Yeah.
And
the flyer parties.
Yeah, so we're the Stud Muffins, dog, and we grew up pretty fast. It was just supposed to be a joke. Even the name, Stud Muffins, is stupid as fuck, but yeah, it was funny. I like being funny. I love comedy. And then we transitioned into tagging and tag banging, I guess. And so I started off with music, and then I went to jail, came back. I had a son at 19. I was 19 years old, 20 years old when I had my son. He's 13 now, right?
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to my boy. So ever since he was born, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drop all my hobbies and just focus on work. And for like that 12 or 13 years, I just went to ACC and I got a job and I just did that. But for a long time, dog, at my job, I was miserable, fool. Like, I hate working for other people. I hate people telling me when I could go to lunch, when I could take a shit, when I could go take a piss, when I could go home, when I have to show up, when I have to wake up. Like, all that shit's kind of whack to me. You feel me? Like, but I knew it's necessary. So my plan was always to do shit on the side to get me out of my job. So I've sold life insurance.
Primerica or WFG?
I did WFG for a year,
Me too.
which I fucking love, dog. I love.
You learn so much from them, bro. It's wild. I got financially literate because of WFG.
That too, right? You learn about like, the Rule 72 and all this cool stuff about money, but it really gave me an opportunity to like learn about myself. They recommended all these books and videos. I started watching Jim Tracy videos and all these like motivational shit.
Hell yeah.
I got into the gym for a minute. I lost like a lot of weight. But what I didn't like is the selling part because it's really hard. Because with WFG or any life insurance thing, you have to sell to your inner circle. Like your homies and your family are going to be usually your customers, right?
Of course.
And nobody would buy, dog, because nobody believes in life insurance.
No one understands it.
Yeah, it's too complicated. It's not something that we talk about at the kitchen table. You feel me?
Yeah.
We talk about the cheese that's going on in the family.
Well, mostly being Hispanics, bro. What we're taught to not talk about three things: money, religion, and politics.
Facts. And it's crazy to me because most Mexicans, like, we have
the same ideologies. We just never express them. So that way, that's why we always think everyone's against each other. But in reality, we all think the same.
Yeah, most Mexicans, we're conservative, dog. We think about God and family, right?
Definitely.
But we, for some reason, always vote Democrat.
I would.
They dangle this carrot in front of us, this fucking promise that, and then I don't vote, fool. This is the first year I'm gonna vote, but I registered.
You could vote. I was gonna say Bozo informed us that any felon could vote. So,
now, yeah. So before I couldn't vote, so I was like, I can't even vote. So who gives a fuck,
Yeah.
But now that new law came into effect that we could vote now, so I've been Patrick McDavid and shit. I'm not a Republican. I don't want anyone to call myself an independent. I'm me. You feel me? So I'll vote for whoever has the same. I'm gonna vote for people who I think are gonna benefit me. Which now I'm in business, right? I'm trying to get more into business. This is a business. Podcasting is a business, right?
Yeah.
So whatever is gonna benefit me, that's what I'm gonna vote for, right?
Best way I could say it, man, is read the policies and then see how it'll affect either your wallet or your family, and then make your decision based off of that. Because at the end of the day, what's important to you? Is it your family and your wallet, or is it what other people are feeling that or fighting for certain things?
Yeah, dog. So then, the Lit Outlet was a record label first. So I had two artists. I had a reggaeton artist, I had an R&B artist, and then I had the homie was my engineer. So we would rent studio time, right? We would rent studio time, and then it got too expensive. And then on the free time, like say I rented like a 6-hour block of studio time. If we had like an hour left or 2 hours left, I'm all like, fuck it, let me get in the booth and spit some shit. And I'll freestyle some shit. And I put out like 4 songs that I thought were cool at the time, and now I listen to them and they're fucking cringy. But I let them rock, I let them rock or whatever. But yeah, so the music game is a very long process. It's a business in itself, and it was an expensive hobby at one point. So I had to kind of make a transition, and I was always into like Joe Rogan and No Jumper. I was before Adam 22 became a weirdo. So I was really into that shit. So then I started the podcast, and my first co-host was The Game, the rapper. His cousin was Gregory Greens. And we did like 4 or 5 episodes, but like logistically, he lived in the Bay, I lived in LA, and we were doing like 1 episode a month. And I knew I wanted to transition into more episodes. So he kind of just like said he didn't want to do no more. So I kept doing it, and I transitioned into interviews, dog. So I just started doing interviews, and then, I used to pay someone to record me. I used to pay someone to do my audio. I used to pay somebody to do all my shit. And then I left the glasses industry, the eye doctor shit, and I started truck driving. So 12-hour days, 6 days a week, dog. So I had the money to pay for these fools. And eventually, like, that shit didn't work out either. Because I switched over because I wanted to spend more time with my son.
I was gonna say, where did it not work out? Was it because it was affecting family time? Or?
Yeah, and then one time I almost crashed. Like I fucking jackknife on the freeway, and that shit was scary as fuck.
What's that?
Like I fucking my cab was like facing this way, and the car kept going this way, and I was on the 16 when you turn like this.
And a big ass semi truck.
Yeah, and I had a double, so I had 2 fucking. We used to carry rocks and gravel and shit.
No manches.
But I was empty, dog. I was empty, so my shit just fucking jackknife, and I fixed it. Whatever, boom, kept going, and I was like, damn, like this is it's a lot more dangerous than.
Was it because of the wind?
Nah, I think I fucked up because when you're empty, you're not supposed to do certain things. And then my shit just like I looked in the rearview mirror, and your car is supposed to be lined like this, and one of my shit was sideways. So I tried to correct it, and then I went sideways to correct it back.
Damn.
But anyways, didn't work out. So then I'm all like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Like, what do I really want to do? You know, like, you know, I'm young. I gotta make a move now. You know, I was like, what, 30 when I made this decision. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go heavy into the podcast shit. And so far, like, it took me a while to get monetized. I've been monetized for a year. And then I want to say this to all the people out there thinking about starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or anything like that. Like, you're not gonna make money for a long time, dog, unless you're like a clickbait channel, right?
Yeah.
Where like all you focus on is like drama and stress and shit like that, which it is entertaining, but it's not something I want to be known for. You feel me? So I like to interview people with interesting stories, regardless where they come from. You feel me? But yeah, then I've been doing podcasts on and off for 6 years, but I've been on a tip where I haven't missed an episode for like maybe 2 years every week, and now I'm doing 2 episodes a week.
But anyways, bro, so when you got into the podcast realm, and like you said, you know, you don't make a lot of money when you're first starting out. What kept you motivated? What kept the faith going? Because at the end of the day, we've been into this for a whole year now, right? We haven't made a single dollar either.
Right.
I could easily say it's been a burden in my wallet.
Facts.
I could say that. You know, it's an expensive hobby, just exactly what you said. But what kept you motivated and like, you know what, I'm gonna continue with this until one day it gets monetized?
You know, whenever you start something, dog, like at first you're gonna suck, but the moment you lose is when you quit. So I'm not really a quitter when it comes to certain things, but I just feel like in the long run, this will be I want to make money for doing something that I like. You know, my dad's a street vendor. Fool, that fool sells hats and like baseball gloves and bats, and he's been doing it for 25 years, dog. So I get that hustle from my dad where he doesn't make a lot of money. This fool works 7 days a week. He has a regular job Monday through Friday, and on the weekends he sells hats and shit, right? So I have this thing where like, if that fool could, you know, sacrifice all this time and money, then I could do it too. And what am I really doing? Fool, I'm already sitting down talking on the microphone. It's not as physically, you know, demanding as other jobs, fool.
Yeah.
You know, but I've tried it all, dog, and I feel like podcasting has really like, you know, it has, you have a lot of free tools to help you with, like you have Instagram and social media that can really like, you know, help you push it. So it's just something I enjoy doing. And I have a feeling it's gonna work out. I just looking forward. I think it's gonna work out.
It is working out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You already gotten to the point where you're monetized. You already gotten to the point where you're making some type of revenue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying. So it is working out for you. And you know, going back to your parents or your dad being a street vendor. You know, now that I think about it, my parents were never street vendors, but they used to sell at the swap meet.
Yeah,
right here at Harbor College.
I used to work at the swap meet. My dad had a stand at the Paramount swap meet.
Yeah, so I just think it's crazy how I feel like we all kind of have the same story.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And if it wasn't our, you know, that we were around when our parents were doing that, we know that our parents did something to like sell something to, you know, make some extra
supplement their income.
Yeah, bro. Because I remember, well, at least I remember my mom used to sell like shoes and stuff like that. Like we used to pull up to a Harbor College every morning, and then I used to buy the little, what are those things called that you throw and they pop?
Little pops.
Are they the little pop? Yeah,
it just says pop on the box.
Yeah, it says pop. Yeah, bro. I used to buy those all the time. Like every morning, I used to tell my mom, "Can I go buy some? Give me like some money to go buy some." Because I used to just hit up the corner of the swap meet and go over there buy some. And then I used to be a little kid, just boom, boom, boom. Because my mom used to sell things over there, bro. Now going to that, how was it having a father that does street vending, bro? Was it a little was it like, did you ever get bullied for something like that? Because, you know, it could be difficult, you know, with other kids maybe knowing or whatever.
Nah, to me, it was dope because my dad was like, he's not money hungry. Like, I always had like a good glove, good shoes and whatever, because my dad will get like something. He'll find a deal on some gloves that's supposed to be $400, $300, and he'll sell it for like $280, $270. So our hats, like this hat's supposed to be $50. If you go to Lids, we sell it for $35. So my dad has always been the guy to like, hey, we're gonna give you high quality, not no fake shit, like some real fucking branded shit. And we're gonna give you a good price. So a lot of people love my dad.
Oh, so he came in the game totally different.
Yeah, undercutting everybody and shit. And then you know, right now he's at a park in Boyle Heights. He sells at it's called Ramon Garcia Park, but everyone calls it Fresno or El Hoyo. Yeah. And so my dad plays baseball to this day. He still plays baseball at the men's league. So he'll play baseball, and then as soon as this game is over, he'll open up his shop. And we started when I was like 5 years old. This fool used to sell tools, and we used to go downtown where the old Sears building is and all those little factories, and he would sell tools out of the trunk of our Astro van, and I'll be in the backseat just watching all the transactions like a little fucking cat, just like watching and studying like what my dad has to do and say to make this fool buy something. And my dad taught me how to like, you know, you have to treat your customers nice. You got to remember their names. He'll let people like, all right, pay me next week type shit, which is like, damn, fool, I would never do that. But
of course,
my dad understands the hustle, the grind, right? So, you know, it was dope because my dad's always been known as a guy that like, oh, he'll hook me up. Oh, you know, Chalio Sporting Goods, whatever, boom, boom. And fools our age still go to this fool and buy a hat every week. Like they get their paycheck, they go get a fresh hat. You know, like you get a fresh pro club. My dad was a fresh hat guy. So I've always had cool hats too. And
Are you a Raider fan?
I'm a Raider fan, dog.
That's right.
You a Raider fan too?
Hell yeah, bro, for life, bro. Yeah, come on, bro. That's
the original nation, the only nation. Raider
I was gonna say it, bro. That shit runs through my veins, bro. Like, ooh. Like, don't even get me started on the Raiders, bro. That's like the only team I have like that loyalty for. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Dodgers, Lakers guy, right? But when it comes to the Raiders, bro, it's like I have an attachment that's crazy, bro. But it comes from my dad. It comes from down in Mexico, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that it's because the first Mexican American coach and stuff like that, like
quarterback coach.
You know, you start hearing about all that in Mexico. You're like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, they fuck with us.
Yeah, they mess with us.
Yeah, Al Davis would stop going to. He wouldn't play in cities where like they will make the black people and the white people separate or like not go to the same tunnel. Like he was like, nah, I'm not playing in that city. Like Al Davis has been known to like
Well, he was a great guy, bro. Now. Your dad, on the other hand, he sells these hats and stuff like that. Is that how you actually got introduced to business? Because I mean, you did mention that you would see the transaction and stuff like that, and I could say the same too. When my mom used to sell at the swap meet, that's kind of how I got into business. But then it wasn't until I was 8, and I posted this the other day where I talked about how I made my first $1,000. I was 8 years old, and I sold candy to my cousins because my grandpa had passed away, and we're Catholic, right? So we did rosarios. Cada viernes. So every Friday, bro, we were at my grandma's house praying. Yeah. And my little cousins would always be like, oh, we want to go to the gas station. We want to go to the store to buy snacks. But no one wanted to take them because, one, the parents didn't want to spend money and they didn't want to take them. Thanks. Right? So I seen a problem and I brought the liquor store to them, right? And then I made, $1,000 in like roughly 3 months. And I was only 8 years old, but my mom taught me a very important lesson of reinvesting all your profits. And you know what I'm saying? And the funny part is that I never made a correlation until right now speaking to you that my mom was teaching me business because she used to run a business.
Facts.
So she knew how to run a business. And it's funny because till this day, whenever I have an issue with my business, guess who's the first one I'm calling? My mom. Yeah. So is that the same way with you? Like when you have a business question or anything like that, are you calling your dad for some guidance, some advice?
I've worked for my dad since I was 5 years old. So like I would say maybe 18, 19 when I moved out because I had my son. So I was his like apprentice. He will leave me sometimes. I had to run the store myself. And growing up, I always understood Spanish. Spanish was my first language. But then you go to school and you learn English and they don't teach you Spanish no more. So for a while, my Spanish wasn't really good, so I had to learn Spanish all over again.
Were you becoming an osabo?
I was, fool. But like, dealing with nothing but old Mexican men buying hats, like I had to learn Spanish all over again. But one of my favorite things I remember now that like, especially in the beginning when we were selling tools, I used to love coming home with my dad on Friday night after selling and counting the money. That was my favorite thing to do because he'll have like a wad and it'll be 20s, 5s, and 10s. It wasn't nothing crazy, but like counting $500. Like, I don't know, having it in my money, seeing what it produced was like, damn, we're rich. Let's go to fucking Disneyland. And he goes, no, like 80% of that, we got to go buy more tools to have more money again. And I was always like, damn, this fucking sucks, dog. Like, I want to go spend this money now. And he goes, no, yeah, but if we spend this money, we're not going to have money to go re-up. So I took that into, because I used to also sell candy in high school, but before I started selling candy, I was selling weed and shit. And then at one point I was selling both. So I'll sell you a Nick bag or a dime bag in nutrition, and by lunch you were hungry, and I will have the munchies. So
that's right.
I will create this like little ecosystem and shit.
No. A monopoly, my boy.
A monopoly, you know? So fools will come by lunch. And then at one point I remember this fucking big, I'm big too, so I could say some big fat fucking assistant principal saw me one day. And I used to always on purpose wear my Southgate baseball hat for the high school team, my jersey, and I would take my duffel bag. Yeah. But the duffel bag would be just full of candy. And
you know who did that too? You're looking at him. Yeah. I used to play ball too. I played travel ball up until high school, and then after high school, I pretty much got into business. But that's funny you say that because I was the same way, bro. I had a Pedro hat on. And then I wouldn't wear the jersey. I would just wear like a workout shirt, and I had a big ass duffel bag. Yeah. And I swear to God, I had like the 30-pack of candies in there, and I was selling for $1.
So I was making bank, right? And then one time he comes like, hey, you can't sell at school. I'm all like, and then on the dime, I'm all like, oh, it's because I'm raising money for the baseball team. Oh, the baseball team, let me get 3. So then this big fat fool will buy nothing but king size. I was selling king size Reese's and Snickers and whatever other bar I could get my hands off from Costco. Yeah. And sell them for $1, So that's a good deal. So, it's kind of lying. I was misleading him and shit like that, but the grind was there because I knew my dad's business was not legitimate as far as like business licenses and paying taxes or whatever for a long time. Now he's straight. He figured out how to like
the LLC and all that.
Yeah, like paying taxes basically, you know. So I knew it was illegitimate, and he had to kind of like bend the truth sometimes, especially when you're starting off.
Of course.
So I learned that from him and shit like that. But like the grind. My dad to this day still does it. Dog. He's 62 years old and he's still grinding and shit, you know.
Well, let's talk about the podcast now, bro. I'm about to reset that one real quick. Bro, what is going on?
There's no way you would hire a construction crew outside, bro. It's like
maybe that one. The jackhammer.
the jackhammer is crazy.
Going to the podcast, bro. When did the podcast actually start growing? Who was your first big guest? And when did you actually say, you know what, I'm not gonna quit? I mean, when you first, after you got monetized, were you like, was there more gas on the pedal, or was there like kind of like slowed down? Like what happened there?
You know, in the beginning, dog, no one wanted to be on my podcast, right? And I understand because the reach wasn't there. I wasn't getting impressions, reach. Nobody was watching my shit. So
yeah,
it was so hard to get guests, fool. So like maybe the first year, I just interviewed the homies. I interviewed the homie Nelson who lost his leg in a motorcycle accident. I'm like, oh, cool story. Let's do that. Homies that were trying to do rapping, I will interview a bunch of like, well, yeah, nobodies, but they're the homies. And to me, it was like, you know what? I'm going to learn with these fools. I'm going to learn how to podcast, the art of conversation, the art of like trying not to cut people off, being a good listener, because I think podcasting is more about listening than talking, you know? A lot of times, a lot of fools want to like over talk on the episode, especially when you have a guest. Like the people that are going to watch are probably usually going to be there to listen to the guest, right? And I would have this problem of cutting people off a lot. Because I would want to get my point across, you know, because I would get excited. I would jump the gun and shit like that. So I had to grind my gears, rewatch. Because I edited my own episodes, so I would watch like, damn, I cut this fool off in the middle of a story right there. Like, fuck, that would have been a good clip or whatever. So I would just hope and pray, dog, and grind to like, man, hopefully I want more views. Man, this shit's growing. Once I get monetized, it's going to be over. And then like I started getting monetized, I'm like, fuck, $30 a month, $20 a month. Like, damn, like it's not even everything I expected, right?
It's not profitable.
Yeah, and like the slow grind, you know, the slow grind is something that it's like it's something you got to fall in love with, you know, brick by brick, penny by penny and shit like that. But now I'm at a point where a year ago, I was hoping and praying to be at where I am at now, but I'm already looking forward again. I never like get comfortable. I never get like happy or satisfied, you know? Yeah. I'm always looking for like the next shit. Yeah. But yeah, dog, now that I'm monetized, I'm getting kind of more views. I have a couple of videos in the last month that like 700,000 on TikTok. Fucking when I interviewed Alex Enamorado, 250,000 on Instagram, which Instagram's the hardest one to get views on. You know, like I started seeing like, okay, this is what the people want, you know, supply and demand. They want these stories. This is what people want to talk about. Like, let me get these guests. And what I offer people is, you know, you're going to get high quality clips. You're going to get like a week or two worth of content, and all you got to do is show up for an hour and I'll take care of the rest.
Do you think his activism is kind of controversial?
Oh, it's very controversial, but I'm all for it, dog. I support Alex Enamorado because from the sole fact that my dad's a street vendor, you know? My dad's been robbed at gunpoint. No one was there to help him. The cop showed up a couple hours later, didn't do shit. You know, the guy took my dad's money and he tried to take the truck, but he couldn't start it, so he bounced. So my dad, you know, the day my dad came home from that day, like he got robbed, my dad was like white. Like he just like, he was scared. He was
pale, yeah.
Yeah, he was scared, fool. Like, and that shit pissed me off because, you know, a part of me is like, man, I'm gonna go find this fool and fucking, you know, do what I gotta do. But, yeah, you know, my dad still showed up next week or the next day and kept grinding and shit like that. And it's one of those things, you just chuck it up to the game. Like it's part of the game, you know, it's part of the business getting robbed. Eventually someone was gonna rob him, you know? And then we've had the truck. Before we had a truck, it was a van, and that shit got robbed twice. They took the whole van, gutted it, and then we'll find it abandoned. So, and my dad kept going. So like, if my dad could like re-up and, you know, do his thing all over again, I can too. So like, you know, it's something where like, me and my dad have an old school Mexican conversation. We just kind of like grunt at each other. We talk to each other, don't reply, but we understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And, you know, to this day, he's a big help to me.
No, man, I'm just asking because I know me and Alex have bumped heads.
Okay.
I called them out on a podcast one time.
Why don't you like Alex?
I do like him. I like him for what he stands for, what he's doing in that sense. I don't like him because he's promoting socialism, though.
Oh, yeah, but...
So, that was the debate. Debate had nothing to do with what he was doing.
Yeah, but I saw a comment that you left on something. It said, keep him.
Yeah, well, it was because I feel like some of the videos he's done were out of proportion.
What do you mean?
Like, bro, he's going on people's property. Like, you're kind of like, yes, you're going against racist people. You're doing the right thing. You're protesting and stuff like that. But I feel like there's a certain line where it's like, when does it become assault, or when does it become like you're doing too much.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, not to cut you off, and like I said, I like what he's doing, right? Because now when you just told me about your dad and stuff like that, obviously, bro, people need that. We need that protection, mostly in our community, right? Mostly con gente que viene de México, que es muy humilde, que a lo mejor no sabe cómo hablar inglés. You know, they need some form of protection.
Right.
You're 100% right, and I agree with that. But it comes to the point where it's like, damn, bro, like, You're going extreme. Like I don't know. I feel like he just started going too much. Yeah, and I think that's where it kind of messed up.
To me, dog, if he doesn't do it the way he does, I feel like people are still getting robbed. People are still getting whatever mishandled and disrespected. Yeah. But now there's like the people who are thinking about doing something to a street vendor now have to be like, okay, if I do this and I get caught, they're going to be at my house. Or if I do something racist, there's going to be repercussions where at first people have been doing shit to street vendors for thousands, hundreds of years, whatever, since whenever people have been street vending.
Oh, yeah. No, a long time.
And now there's something that, like, if you do this shit, like, the chances are you're going to get caught.
There's like a consequence to it.
Yeah, because what they're doing to street vendors is wrong and it's heinous and it's a bad crime and it's fucking aggressive. So sometimes you got to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And I just dig how he, like, fuck it, like, what are you gonna do? Arrest me? Like, fuck it. He's been arrested like 1,000 times. He gets out the next day.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, fool, because I know people in small businesses from my area that support Alex, right? But they can't post nothing on Instagram as far as supporting him because the cops or the sheriffs tell them, like, hey, if you support this fool, whenever you fools call 911, we're not gonna show up. Because the sheriffs hate that fool, the cops hate him, the government hate him. Like,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so like it's one of those things where like it's a dirty war, like
damn. So they're extorting people almost.
You want to fight a war, and you want to play by the rules when the opposition is not playing by the rules. So
shit. Okay, see now I think me learning more knowledge about okay.
Yeah, so like it's fucked up the way they
I didn't know that.
They overdo their power. Like the government. Sometimes when you're the big brother and you have a little brother. The little brother one day has to grow up and fucking sock his big brother back, dog, or just keep him in check. You still love him. You still need him. That's your family. We're all family and shit, but like you can't keep getting punked like that. And I think Alex has the balls to do that shit, and that's why I support him. Right now, I haven't really talked a lot about Alex because they're still in the preliminary stages of his his whole thing, his whole situation. So they threw like, I don't know, 15, 16 different charges at him. Right now, they're going through preliminary, and the judge is throwing some shit out and keeping some shit. So once I find out what exactly he's going to be charged with or go to trial for, that's when I'm going to start talking about it.
So I think, because I did kind of keep up with him, do you think everything started changing when he started like attacking the cops, like their family members and stuff like that?
What do you mean?
Do you think that's when he started like...
But what exactly do you mean? What situation did he attack a
wasn't
cop?
it... Not attack... He never attacked a cop, my bad. Let me rephrase that. He never physically attacked a cop. He never did anything like that. What I'm saying is like he was going after his cop because I guess the cop's daughter did something.
Oh, they beat up a street vendor or something?
Something like
that.
Or
she got down. Or somebody.
Or they said, they verbally.
Oh, yeah. So these three white girls were being racist to the street hot dog vendor. And then they ate the hot dogs and didn't pay him and told him go back to your country. They like verbally
something
assaulted
like that.
him and stole money from him.
Mm-hmm. And then he found out that one of them was a daughter of like some like cop, and then like he started going after the cop, and then what I was gonna say, do you think all that bad, like not bad karma or anything like that, but what I'm saying, do you think everything started to go downhill once he started messing with that one cop?
Well, of course, because I feel like people need to be held accountable. Just because you're a cop doesn't mean that you don't abide by the same rules everybody else does. Yeah. So he starts holding people accountable, but the fucked up thing is that he's holding people accountable who have all the power. Like I can't lock you up right now, you can't throw me in jail right now, but the cops can. And if I have a beef with a cop or a whole city or a fucking civil government, whatever it is, like Riverside and shit.
See, I never, you know what? And
they have the power to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And then what happens most of the time when you do that is you're not Alex Enamorado. If you do it to a regular person, who's going to stand up and protest for you? No one is. So they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this to a lot of people. And now just because you fuck with the wrong fool, now it's all over the place. And now you're going to have to switch up your game. For a long time. I just had Matt Mohawk on the fucking podcast. And I did a clip yesterday where he goes, in the 90s, the cops will beat you up, take your shit, put you in the cop car and drop you off. They will know where you're from and they'll drop you off in your fucking enemy's neighborhood.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
And then a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is not true. The cops would never do that. They're good people." And then like there's like 500 comments like, "Yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, that happened to my uncle. That happened to my brother. The cops killed the cops shot my brother, shot him 60 times. Like that's excessive." So if you don't speak up about shit like that, dog, if you don't like bring up those facts that it does happen and have like stories to back it up, they're gonna keep doing it, dog. And it's a form of activism where you're using social media to like to spread awareness. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure Alex would rather no one get robbed and no one get fucking assaulted than having to do what he has to do. But I just respect him so much because he's the one out there like, fuck it, I'm gonna sacrifice myself.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be the voice of the people.
No, you're right. And like I said, I just disagree with him when it comes to our, I guess you could say, some of the political.
Yeah, like he's a socialist. He
yeah.
told me he's a socialist. He believes in the people should own the means of production.
Yeah, so I was trying to, I actually, the reason where this whole bumped heads came from was me calling him out to a debate on socialism versus capitalism, just based off the economic, structures of them.
Yeah.
And he just didn't want to do it, and he ended up just making fun of me. That's the
Latino in you, dog.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I was gonna say,
fun of you, dog.
I was gonna say, like, that's where we bumped heads, and that's where we never actually like had a good foot together. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, when it comes to the activism part of it, I thought it was great. But some of the stuff, I'd be like, "Yo, bro, like,
yeah, showing up to people's houses, and then
I was kind of like, you're doing too much."
I like it when he would show up with like a mariachi.
That was cool, bro.
Or he'll sell tacos in front of your house and shit. Like that's thinking outside the box, and it's dope. And
I just thought it was kind of different when he would go up to him and like when he would when they were trying to get in their house or whatever, and he's like yelling at them. And it's like,
he never went inside nobody's house, but he would go to the front door and tell you to come outside, stop being a bitch, right? Catch these hands, which is like, you want to punk somebody. Here's someone you gotta, whenever you punk somebody, dog, and it's a little fool, that little fool always has a big homie, dog.
That's true.
Especially, that's something I learned, dog. I was the big homie for a long time. Like, hey, you fucking with the homie, dog? Like, boom, I'll get down with 12 fools right now, just for the little homie. I've done that before, and like. You have to. I feel like he didn't really do too much. Showing up to somebody's house is kind of crazy, right? If you're on private property, but most of the time he knows the law, dog. He'll stay on the sidewalk. That's totally legal. You can show up in front of the sidewalk with a fucking blowhorn and music, and they can't do shit.
Yeah,
to you,
no, of course. That's where I'm like, that's cool. But I thought it was crazy when he was like going up to like their doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're getting mad at after the fact. That person, whoever they did, should have never done that in the first place.
That's true. You're right.
So
you're right.
It's one of those things where like you're getting mad at the fucking apple when it's the tree that fucked up.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not mad at anything. I'm just saying I just thought it was just crazy. I was like, damn,
it is crazy.
Really
but like I said, it's like a necessary evil because you got to fight fire.
Right.
When you go to war, dog, you don't fucking take flowers and daisies.
I think you definitely
take bullets and bombs.
I was say I think you definitely changed my mind when it, because I was just like, damn, this was extreme.
The socialist thing is crazy. I have an uncle who's a socialist, dog, and he's kind of like me and my dad
like
were
a Castro type socialist type thing.
Yeah, like me and my dad. Me and my dad are entrepreneurs, so we fuck with capitalism, right? Yeah. Like supply and demand, make money and support your family, right? But I also don't fuck with like monopolies. I also don't fuck with like
well, there's monopoly laws.
BlackRock and all these big companies buying up houses, not letting people like me and you want to like. My dad, fool, and my mom bought a house in 1993 off minimum wage, my boy. You feel me? Like, yeah. And all they had to do was just stop eating out, eat fucking shop at the grocery store, make themselves food. My mom hates that shit because she's a fucking avid shopper. And they were able to buy a house on minimum wage, my boy. Like that, those days are over for us. You fool? Like, and it's because of the fucking big companies behind our back doing crazy shit, lobbying and fucking filling the pockets of politicians to like block us from the fucking American dream. And that's the fucking main reason why we're here, dog. Mexicans just want to come, work, fucking raise a family and buy a house, dog.
Well, check this out, man. And that leads me to I think a good subject, Bitcoin. What do you know about cryptocurrencies? I mean, because BlackRock is just getting into it and stuff like that, and I've been going crazy and trying to promote that shit, to teach people, educate people on
That's
it.
Another thing too. I study all that shit, right? I study anything to do. I love money, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you, because money is not. I'm not greedy, but I know you need money in this country to support your family and to live the life you want, right?
And to do stuff in general.
Pay rent, fucking buy a burger. You need, they're not taking IOUs or fucking. You can't exchange your fucking shoes for a burger nowadays. You feel me? Like, but I study all that shit, but. The Bitcoin thing, it makes sense, but it's very complicated. It reminds me of life insurance where like, obviously we need it, but we don't understand it yet. And sometimes, when I'm studying it, I said earlier, like I like to flip it back and regurgitate it, but in a 5th grade language. And sometimes it's difficult for me to do that. Like I don't really understand it. You're buying a percentage of a coin. You're not buying a coin. You're buying a percentage of it. And then you got to pay taxes on it. You got to be on it all day, high and low and shit like that. And it's like, a lot of people are having trouble just surviving their job and taking care of their family. Then you want to throw Bitcoin on top of it, or you want to throw an extra business on top of it. Like it's a lot for people.
Well, can I put it in 5th grade terms for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just a simple store of value. It's a simple store of value because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There's a halving every 4 years that cuts the reward of Bitcoin to the Bitcoin miners. So that pretty much creates a supply chain.
You said having, so you gotta stop using like Bitcoin like knowledge, like
having. Okay,
so what you're saying is like you get a Bitcoin, but every 4 years all that profits goes back to the people who found the Bitcoin, right?
No.
What's having mean?
So all right. There's Bitcoin miners, right? What a Bitcoin miner is. This is where people get confused.
Tell me what
right?
a miner is first.
Okay, let me explain to you. So what a Bitcoin miner is a computer, right? Just a regular computer. You apply this computer to the Bitcoin network. What this computer's job is simply to do is to solve the blockchain for transactions to move smoothly.
It's like building roads, highways.
Yes. Okay. When that Bitcoin miner, which is a computer, solves a whole block, it gets rewarded with Bitcoin. Right now, it's 6 Bitcoin.
Okay, hold on. Now, the highway it's fixing, why does it need to be fixed? And once it's fixed, what's going to happen?
So the reason why it needs to be fixed is because, okay, you go to Visa, you go to MasterCard, you pay a bunch of fees. Either the business owner is paying it or you're paying it, right? This cuts that cost down, right? That's the reason why that blockchain was made to begin with. So the reason why the blockchain is necessary is to validate that this money came from this account and it's going to this account.
So like the fucking those credit card swiping machines, the computers that you set up at your house to be a mining, you're a terminal for people.
Technically.
And they're using your power, your fucking internet instead of putting one in every store.
Yes.
Like there's people at this house and they connect it through the internet.
Yes. Yes. So you're pretty much a part of the Bitcoin network, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so every 4 years, right? Like I said, right now the reward for solving a whole block is 6 Bitcoin, right? Something around there.
How long does it take to fix a block?
I don't know. See, that's what you don't know. Sometimes you don't even get the whole 6. Sometimes you get a portion of that. Sometimes you get rewarded in just portions, right? Because you could be in a pool of computers, and all these computers are all solving the block, and then they all, like, obviously divide the reward.
But what is your computer, like, contributing? What are the resources that you're giving to the
network?
To the pool?
You're just your power and energy.
Energy, like your electricity. Mm-hmm. And they were rather, instead of having like a building full of servers, they were just like, you're like a third contract, like a third party.
Yes. Okay. You're technically an independent contractor.
It's kind of like YouTube and having people create their own channels.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so every 4 years is a supply shock because that reward for Bitcoin for the miners gets cut in half.
Okay.
And that's what pretty much keeps Bitcoin keep going up.
So there was an incentive to get in early, right?
Yes.
And be one of the first ones. But now that there's so many more computers and people involved mining, you can't pay everybody the same. So you still have to do it. The highway still has to be done, but now at a lower cost.
Yes. And the thing about it is that it's gotten to the point where, let's say you're mining like 10 years ago, you used to get like 50 Bitcoin like reward, but it's been cut half. And then it also gets cut in half because you got to also remember there's only going to be 21 million. So as soon as 21 million are out, that's it.
Okay. So now let's say the 21 million are found. We're at the end. All the Bitcoins are out. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now what's the purpose of Bitcoin at that point?
Store of value.
So now it's
just like gold.
Now it's a currency.
No, more of an asset.
Okay.
You could use it as a currency, but there's better cryptos that you could use as an actual day-to-day currency like Ethereum, Cardano, stuff like that are actually more built for transactions. This is going to be more built for like some rich guy that wants to just fucking store $1 million and doesn't want it to move and wants it to grow over time like the S&P 500. That's what eventually Bitcoin will become.
Okay, so it's not, because you say coin, you think money. Currency.
Exactly. So I feel like, you're right. The terms do get people confused.
It's
but now
it's just the language.
Yes. So now that you kind of understand it, you're like, okay, now I get what I mean. And that's what I've been trying to educate people on.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, when they talk about Bitcoin, like, oh, you can make money. Oh, you could you're going to get rich off of it. So I'm like, oh, so I'm going to have a bunch of these coins, these super NFT coins that are going to be worth money. It's like, no, it's not really like that. And I think that's where people get the disconnect where like, if you don't understand something, you're either going to dive into it and figure it out, or you're like, nah, I'm going to stay on my own shit. You feel me?
Well, just pretty much put it this way, bro. Bitcoin after April will probably become more rare than gold.
Yeah, but then also too, like a lot of this is like speculation, right? Yep. And then I've known fools that have had like a lot of Bitcoin and like, oh, like this and that, but like it's still like maybe because it goes up, it goes down,
but it's no longer a maybe because BlackRock's involved. You just said it yourself, so that's why I brought it up, was because BlackRock is now involved, bro. BlackRock and Fidelity and all these big players, Wall Street players, bro, they got their spot Bitcoin ETFs approved, meaning they now hold and own Bitcoin,
right? And
now their investors can now buy Bitcoin indirectly through their ETF.
You don't think, like, how there's like monopoly laws and shit like that? You don't think those companies should get blocked from doing shit like that?
Well, that's the thing. The SEC has blocked them for so much that it's kind of like if you're in right now and you actually own your Bitcoin, you own it before BlackRock owns it. You see what I'm saying? Like you're getting in before BlackRock, and if BlackRock is really that big evil player, you're gonna get to that. They're gonna push it all the way up.
I like these accounts that I follow on TikTok where they show you what the politicians are buying stocks in. Like that lady Nancy Pelosi, like for a long time she was making a killing.
She makes bro.
And
I don't
I like
understand how people say she's not corrupt, bro. Like, how do you
I don't like
not
that bitch.
get it?
I don't like any politician. I'll be honest, but fuck that bitch for real.
Dude, she's on another level.
But like, it's crazy to me because obviously she got caught doing something crazy. Because now she doesn't really. She's not number one no more. She went down to like 12.
Can I?
She chilled.
Hold on. Yeah, she's like,
she's like, oh shit, hold on.
And then her husband's like this fucking big investor, like he does stocks and shit. Like it's hella insider trading, dog. And whenever the water's muddy like that, I think a lot of people get turned off and like, nah, I don't want to fuck with it because the tides are fucking turned. It's like having the Dodgers play a little league team.
Yeah.
Like, why would you join the little league team?
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm just not even gonna show up to the game. I know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You know what's gonna mind fuck you right now? Nancy Pelosi's actually Gavin Newsom's aunt.
Yeah, you see, that's some bullshit. I heard about that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's his aunt.
Dang.
They're related, bro.
And then this fool wants to run for president after he like California like is getting fucked.
And another thing too, you know, his dad was governor of California before too, right? Prior.
No,
yeah.
Who's his dad?
Newsom as well.
Yeah, you see, like
I looked this up because I watched a murder. I'm sorry, I'm just, not to cut you off. I watched a kidnap thing that happened with 21 kids, where they kidnapped kids and they were trying to extort the state of California. And guess who was governor at the time? Gavin Newsom's dad.
Damn.
Like, bro, if you don't believe in political families and political power and I hate to say it like this, the Illuminati, it's pretty real, bro. It's pretty legit.
I feel like it should be against the law to be a career politician. You should be able to jump in and jump out. You know?
I think like 4 years, 3
you know
years,
how like
that's it.
you know when you're the president, you have the option of keeping the Secret Service if you want to.
Yeah.
Well, after you become a fucking politician and you're
They
out,
shouldn't get it.
no, you should fucking be police for the rest of your life. And all your bank accounts should be public. Because if you are a public servant, everything should be public. Because I don't want you to be like, oh, I was president for 4 years and now my son's fucking rich because of Ukraine. Like, you're putting your family, you're getting elected to make these favors for these big companies, and you should be held accountable. That's just not, especially when you're dealing with public shit, public servants, public money. Yeah. You know, like the fucking, what is it? I don't know if it's the fucking the Federal Reserve or the fucking Congress. Like, oh, we lost $7 billion this year. We don't know what happened to it. Like, how the fuck you lose $7
Exactly.
billion?
Oh, the military.
Yeah, the
military.
Pentagon. It was the Pentagon.
Lost. Yeah, like
it was the Pentagon.
And it's because they're funding these, like, you know, those things. They're in Venezuela. They're funding these things that the American people would never approve of. But also, too, I understand that maybe they have to, and we wouldn't understand that if we don't do this, Russia's going to pull up. China's going to pull up. Like Mexico right now. Mexico, I love Mexico and everything. The new president is dope as fuck. I think so. But he's homies with fucking Cuba, Russia, and China, which is like a fucking enemies.
I was going to say, you just said it like, oh, I think he's cooling up. With me, I'm like the total opposite. Because I hear like the total opposite from my family down south. They hate him. They don't like him.
Why they hate him?
I think it's their economic stance. They're on the top of the food chain, you could say.
They already got money.
Yeah, and they are getting fucked by him.
I think Mexico has the land and it has like the fucking resources to be a
first world country.
Yeah, but for some reason it's not, and it's usually because I'm just assuming, right? It's usually because
of colonialism.
The top is fucking keeping all the money, not spreading the wealth. And what I've heard, I have family who lives in Mexico too, and live in both. I have a lot of dual citizenship in my family. Mm-hmm. That this fool's fucking, you know, like selling off a lot of the assets and giving back to the country, creating these programs for the kids and shit to stay there. Because if you have so many people,
socialism.
Why so many people are leaving your country? There's got to be a reason. You got to put a stop to that shit. There's a lot of smart people. Like Mexico City is one of the biggest, best cities in the world. Like, why isn't there more Mexico cities in Mexico?
Of course, no. You're definitely right, but it goes to the point where, do you want the government to own your gas?
They do, don't they? Don't they own Pemex?
Yeah, now. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it goes to the point where, when does it become like socialism? When does it become?
Who owned it before?
Private companies, but they sold it to America.
So
he bought it back.
America owned their gas.
Yes,
but you think that's cool?
No, but this is where I would give you a solution. This is where I'm like, okay, I wouldn't want my government owning it, but hey, you know what? The government should take it away from them, and then sell it to Mexican entrepreneurs and Mexican private entities, and only keep it Mexican. Like, make a law where it's like only Mexicans could own. What I'm saying is the government should not be involved.
I to be honest, for me, I don't give a fuck who owns it. I think what you do with the money is more important. I don't care if I own it, you own it, but are you kicking back money? Are you building schools? Are you building roads? Mexico has a bunch of fucked up roads. It has a lot of land where you could fucking farm and shit. Are you providing cheaper crops or cheaper fucking groceries? Are you building houses for people who don't have houses? Are you providing Wi-Fi? A simple thing like Wi-Fi. Like, say U.S. owns it, but every year they fucking buy 10,000 Starlinks, and now everybody has Wi-Fi and access to the internet. Like, oh, that's cool. They're giving something back. The problem I have is when you own something and you're being greedy, and then you're doing this fucking business and acquisition mergers. Like, I'm going to use this money from that it belongs to these people, and I'm going to buy this company, and I'm going to be bigger, and I'm going to be a conglomerate. And like, you're playing this game, you're being a capitalist, right? A fucking capitalist, right? Like you're being a capitalist and you're being greedy. At that point, there should be a cap, a limit where like no one needs to have that much money, dog.
So that's okay. You're right. All right, I could kind of agree with you on there, but my fear of the government owning it is exactly that. It's because yes, you're right. A normal person can find greed, but when does a government find greed? When does a government overtake their power?
Well, we're seeing that every day here in America.
So
dog.
exactly right. Let's say Obrador Lopez. Let's say he's a great guy, kind of puts them back in a good path, but then we get another president. Right. And then that president instead is like, all right, I want to pass this law. You guys don't agree with me. I'm going to raise the gas on you guys because we own it and you need gas. Yeah. So so what I'm saying is like, this is why I believe they should have more restrictions on their gas where it's like, it could only be owned by a Mexican and a private Mexican entity and not by the government. Because when will the government weaponize that? When will the government use that against you when you disagree with them?
Well, do you agree with everything the U.S. government does?
No, of course not.
Are you happy when we're paying $7 a gallon for unleaded?
No, and that's what I'm
trying to... It's not cool, right?
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's where I'm like, that's where I draw the line.
But you're forecasting, like, what if they get to this point? Like, yeah, that would be fucked up. I don't agree with that either. But we're beyond that point at home. Like, we're doing it much more worse. Like, they're learning from us. They have to evolve and kind of get on our level as far as like, you know what? America has this huge army. America has this great economy. What do? They have to learn from the people above them, right? So they're inching towards that section, but we at home are already doing it 10 times worse, dog. And it comes back to the whole shit. Like we don't have the fucking, the inflation is crazy. We can't buy a house. We can't fucking own or live the way we want to. It all starts here at home first.
It all started right when we got off the gold standard.
Yeah.
And then when we monopolized gold. See, that's what this is, maybe I don't know if you knew this, but we monopolized gold. How do we do that? We told everyone in the world, we're like, hey, we'll hold your gold. We'll give you this like a paper
certificate.
Yeah. And then what? The day they wanted to take it out, they're like, yeah, no, you can't do that. It's staying with us.
They say that too. Like all the money, if you show up to the bank and want to take all your money out, you got to make an appointment. Like, hey, I want $100,000 in cash right now. Oh, we don't got it. Let me make an appointment. Some fool's going to come right now. In a week, you'll pick it up in a week.
And then that's another reason why Bitcoin exists. See what I'm saying? That's another reason why we have these cryptocurrencies, and now you have BlackRock trying to step in, because you could literally, it's economical freedom, when it comes down to that. But yeah, no, my whole thing when it comes to governments being involved in things that we need, I think that's my biggest fear, because you see it in Cuba, when someone disagrees with with one of the political heads in Cuba, or Nicaragua or Venezuela,
yeah,
you've seen them trying to fight for their own freedom, and then the government oppresses them with what they own. And the thing is that
in the first place, like, why do they oppress their own? Because they're getting blocked by the U.S. to trade. They have to take it from their own resources. And when you're a government, your resources, your people. Like they're not letting you. Like Cuba can't trade freely right now, right? Nicaragua has there's a bunch of countries that have all these blockades on them, right? Mm-hmm. That the U.S. imposed on them. Why? Because politically,
they're socialist, they're communist or whatever.
They're at odds politically, right?
Yeah,
then what the U.S. can do is block them out. And then what are they to do? Survive or give up their land and give up their rights to America, because that's what America wants. America wants to oh, this is Cuba. Hey, we don't have money. We don't know. Our people are hungry. Please come help us. All right, I got you. I'm gonna send you some aid, but now you belong to us, Puerto Rico.
So then that's what I'm saying. So if they went communism, thinking they're gonna be independent, but in reality they can't be independent without capitalism.
Right. Well, it's fucked up.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like
it's fucked up because they don't want to play the money game. But that's the name of the game we're playing. Is like you want to play fucking chess, but we're all playing Monopoly. Like you'll be the best chess player, but the one that feeds your people is Monopoly. Like I think like socialism, capitalism, communism is all like baby steps. You start off as a socialist, you end up a communist, and it falls down. Then you have to become a capitalist,
which is China.
Right,
which is China.
There's no country that usually stays in that fucking. Yeah. It's like going through.
It'll fail.
Elementary, middle school, and high school. You feel me? Like so, I think you just gotta mind. The U.S. should mind their business. Let the other countries do what they gotta do. But what I do like about the U.S. is I feel safe, dog. I feel like we have the best military, or if not the best, we can kind of go toe to toe with anybody, right?
Yeah.
And I like that. I like having a strong military. I like protecting our house. You feel me?
Let me thank you for having this conversation, bro. Because a lot of people would be like they would defer from this conversation, and
I
think this is good because I'm learning from you, and I'm pretty sure you're learning my perspective too.
Yeah. Thank you for showing me about Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, no worries, bro. But yeah, no, my whole thing was the Venezuela part. I think Venezuela is my biggest fear of what could happen in Mexico. You know,
Yeah,
that's just my whole thing, bro. I seen Venezuela go down in 2005 when I was younger. I seen it growing up. My mom would show me the TV. She would talk about how evil Hugo Chavez was. She would talk about everything that's going on there and how he monopolized the gasoline and everything. And, you know, we're seeing, at least from my point of view, I'm seeing that in Mexico, and that's my biggest fear. Yeah, and I think that's where I'm like, I don't understand why you people like him, because this was acting like Hugo Chavez way back in the day.
Mexico has always been getting punked by the U.S. And we've always been like, Mexico government has always been in the pocket or in the hands of America, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, this was like, you know what, fuck that, I'm tired of that shit. If I have to go against you, I will, you know. And I think that's gangster, and I just love,
no, I agree.
I love gangster shit. You feel me? Like, I love the little guy sticking up for himself. But
yeah,
you know, it's one of those things that we could go blue in the face as far as talking about these subjects with me and you.
Yeah,
we're bringing light to it. People are gonna watch this and understand, but also too, like, I tell my dad all the time, like, stop watching Univision, dog. Like that's owned by America. Univision is an American company, isn't it, or whatever? But they're pushing far left. You know, like, they're gonna show you who gets robbed, who got shot, who got in a car accident, and why you should vote for fucking Biden.
And you know what's funny? Telemundo is the exact opposite.
Yeah, so I tell that fool, like, you know, I bought him a fucking iPhone 13. I'm like, you can find anybody that you like that talks like you, and this is the news you need to watch. But he's just so programmed to come home from work, take a shower, eat, sit on the couch, and watch fucking Channel 34 all fucking day and night, or a Dodger game. And it's like, come on, dog, like, you got to be able to at least fucking diversify your information. You feel me?
Do you believe in the Matrix?
Like, what do you mean? Like, this is
that's
simulation?
The Matrix. Like, that's a Matrix. Like, your dad, what he does, he goes to work, gets home and watches the news, gets programmed by the news, goes to work.
Oh, program. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
It's kind of like
that's what I'm telling him. Like,
he does the same thing every day. Yeah, because you're getting programmed to the Matrix, and that's what I mean. Do you believe that there's a Matrix? Do you believe there's like a thing where they keep people, you know, programmed to think a certain way?
That's why.
And that's, well, my bad to cut you off, but I believe that the Matrix is the reason why our community votes Democrat.
Yeah,
because we're so brainwashed to think certain things.
Yeah, but I think also too, the people are starting to wake up, and they're flirting with the idea of voting the other way, right? I would vote the other way. I don't vote, but I would vote for Republican if they weren't so racist against immigration. I feel like immigration, there should be like a fast way to get screened through the process. Like, when you sign up for a job, they do a background check, right?
Yeah.
And they check you out, and if you're good enough to get hired, then you should come in the country.
Of course, me too.
Right now, it's like open borders. That kind of scares me a little bit. Like, there's a video of this guy that fucking was in prison for 12 years in Iran for terrorism, and he just came in the other day, and some fool interviewed him. Like, don't worry, you'll hear about me.
Like, yeah, I seen that. That's
bro. Scary as fuck.
He was like, you're gonna find out who I am soon. He's like, you guys are stupid. He's like, if you were somewhat smart, you would have known who I am. And he's standing right there at the bar. I know exactly what he's talking about.
That needs to stop. Like, we need to have a quick due process when it comes to. But, you know, these people come across the border and they dump all their IDs. They dump all their, because, you know, Channel 5.
But they know, bro. I feel like they know, because there's no fucking way that they're okay. Yeah, you could dump it, but you don't think Border Patrol ain't going over there and collecting all that?
You know how many people are at the border every day? No. And then Texas is sending this bus to Arizona, and it takes the people to Chicago and New York for free. But, you know, those people that come to work, you know, the people from Ecuador or fucking Nicaragua, El Salvador that want to come, those fools should be allowed in, because we need those people.
Have you seen some of the stuff Venezuela, like the Venezuelans have been posting? Like, oh yeah, come over here, they're giving out free food. Oh yeah, wow, you guys are working, we're over here chilling. Like,
hey,
off your welfare.
Big companies recruit new employees every day, dog. If you're a better podcaster to me, and there's a company that wants to buy our podcast, who are they going to get? Whoever's better at podcasting. Of course. So we're recruiting people that, you know, we need a bigger workforce. And America the economy runs off people for right now until they fucking build robots and shit.
Well, when do you think, you know, if that's the solution, bringing in new people, why can't we fix our own people?
What do you mean fix them?
Like, you know, if our problem is the workforce and people not wanting to work jobs, and yet we're bringing in new people to work those jobs, what's lacking in our society that's not allowing our future generation to not take that?
Why don't you work construction?
Why don't I work construction personally?
Why don't you want to do it?
Well, one, because I know the actual hard work it takes.
Me too. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
And I'm an entrepreneur, so it's something I found.
Do you think you need to get fixed because you don't want to be a construction worker? You don't want to pick lettuce? You want to get fixed?
No, but you
want to get brainwashed into picking lettuce?
No, you're right. I can see what you mean by that.
You come into the country and you get to pick your job. Basically, you get to do whatever your skills allow you to do. You know, so if you don't want to pick lettuce, maybe you got to pick lettuce for a few years, or to put your kids through school, and then they learn a different skill learn English or whatever, learn this fucking whatever you want to learn, and
get
then
you.
you get to do your job.
Okay.
But
Now,
there's
I see
people
that
like
point.
me and you. My dad works a fucking factory job since the day I was born, and before
Yeah.
that, I don't want to work a factory job, right?
Yeah.
Who's gonna take when my dad retires or he passes away, whatever? God bless, he never does. Who's gonna take his job? Not me, because I don't want to be a factory worker. My dad, one of the biggest fights we always have is like, hey, you buy your own truck, you start selling hats, and then we have two businesses. Like, I don't want to sell hats. My dad sells hats, but I don't want to do it. I want to do something else. I want to do podcasting.
You have your own
But who's
dream.
gonna take his spot when he's gone?
You're right.
The people that are gonna fill in from the
Okay.
bottom.
Okay.
You know, because my dad was that person filling in from the bottom. My dad crossed the border like twice. You know, he would come pick lettuce and tomatoes with my grandpa during the summer and then go back to Mexico when he was a kid.
Wow.
My grandpa was picking he's a fucking tomato picker, whatever. My dad was selling oranges door to door when he came from Mexico.
When did your dad come from Mexico?
He was 12, like 1970, 74.
Did he get the amnesty?
My grandpa fixed papers while he was over here. He paid for, and then he brought people like one by one. My dad has 9 brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Well, that's how my grandpa did it too. My grandpa came
And
in
then
74 or something like that.
My grandma, I think my grandma was pregnant with one of my uncles, and he was born here. And through that's how we got everybody in.
Ooh.
But all my families are hardworking people. I'm like one of the first people to go to jail. You know, it wasn't them, it was me. And they were raised humbly in Mexico, came to work, and I was raised in America, and I went to jail. So what does that tell you? Where's the cultural difference? The cultural difference is like, you know, America. What is it called? Like they glorify the bad guy. They glorify the crazy shit.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're
So
right.
like, what culture is better at the end of the day? The people
right.
coming to work and help us fucking keep fucking broccoli for $1.49 a pound. You know who's the bad guy?
You're right. No, I'm really thinking about that now because I mean my cousins down there are all engineers, doctors,
There's smart people down
business
there.
owners, like you know where they're all college educated and stuff like that. And I'm the college dropout that owns a business and has
And
a
you're in
podcast.
America. Fool.
Yeah,
You have all the resources, but you don't. You
well,
really
that's
don't.
the thing though. I always tell them like you know you need to also realize that in America you can make it without college.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are also waking up to like college can be a scam. You know, you go to 4 years, like I used to want to be a weather guy and an ESPN sportcaster.
Yeah,
So I wanted to go to school for media, right? But look at me now. I'm in media, and I need to go to school. So people were always brainwashing. You have to go to school. You have to get this big loan. You have to do this, and then you're like, oh wait, I actually don't. But who told me I have to? My school, my programming, you know, the movies they show me and shit like that, like the fucking music, the TV shows. Like you have to go to school. You have to go to school, and it's like I'm getting programmed to fall into this fucking money banking system to support who? Since guys could have 5 houses and go to fucking Cabo, Bali, or like
for a month.
see, I
Sandro Pay.
I plan on being that guy, so that's why I don't ever complain.
That'll be dope
Yeah.
to visit, but I don't want to do that forever. Like I want to raise my. To me, look, fool, to me, I always tell this to my son. It sounds fucked up. I mean, it's me and my son. I'm a single dad. It's been me and him since he was 4. His mom just not in the picture. She's not in the picture. I told this fool, like his name's Jordan. Like I don't care about your happiness. I don't want you to be happy. I want you to be productive. I don't give a fuck. Like you're a man. I'm gonna raise you to be a provider for your family, take care of your family. But I really don't care if you're happy. If it was up to him, he'll go to Chuck E. Cheese every day instead of fucking school.
Of course.
You know, like when we train, I'm the baseball coach. Sometimes we run and exercise more than we touch a baseball. You know why? Because you already know how to play baseball, but I don't want you to get tired. Sometimes we play three games a day. Like you got to be ready.
Tournaments.
You got to be ready for the long haul shit. You know?
Hell yeah.
And it's like, I think a lot of people get stuck into like, oh, I want to be happy. Like depression is good, anxiety is good. You know, like that shit will make you want to do better.
Well, let's talk about that, man. At what point? You're right, though. You're right. Depression, anxiety, to a certain extent, can
Obviously,
bring out
yeah.
the best, right? When does it become extreme, and when do you feel like maybe therapy or some type of help might need to be come in place?
I started drinking and smoking food when I was 12 years old.
Okay, I started drinking when I was 12.
Because, at home, our parents are not taught about, like, talking it out or figuring it out. And, like, I couldn't talk to my dad about it. So, like, I started smoking weed and shit. And for, like, an hour, I'll get the munchies, eat, go to sleep. And, like, damn, woke up, like, oh, that shit was tight. That shit was fun. You get the laughs, you get the giggles with your homies. And then recently, I've been sober 6 months. And these last 6 months to me have been crazy, fool. Like, I had so much, like, progress in my life, just, my relationship with my girl, relationship with my son, my family, my parents, like, I was drinking excessively, dog. Like, I was really fucking prescribing myself with drugs and alcohol for a long time, and it's a cheap fix to get out, but it's so easily available. It's easy to get sucked in, and then your homies have the homie peer pressure. You're like, I'm gonna go party. We're Mexican, carne asada and beer and modelos are like our thing.
Yeah.
So like, I think it becomes a problem when you want to start hurting yourself. You want to hurt other people. You're so mad at your situation. You want to do crime. You want to do bad shit. That's when it's like, all right, it's too far. I need to fix this shit. I never went to therapy, but for some people, I'm sure it works. But for me, I'm not that mature yet to go to therapy. You feel me? I feel like I haven't even figured myself out yet.
I'm gonna be real with you.
I've been with girls that are going to school, have family who are going to school to be therapists. And I remember one time, this girl came over and work was just, kick it, if you know what I mean. And she's like, "Oh, I'll go to school for therapy." I'm like, "What do they teach you, dog?" Like, and I started, instead of like handling business, we just talked for 3 hours about the process of becoming a therapist. And she goes, "We're just trained to ask you questions so you could figure yourself out." So they sit down, they take notes, and you're just talking yourself like, "Oh, that's why I do this. Yep. Oh, that's why I do this." So like, I do that to myself. Like, why do I keep doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I will podcast for 2 hours and then get drunk for the next 5. And then I'll be hungover for 2 days and I wouldn't get to edit my episode for like another 3 days. It'll take me forever. And like, damn, like this process can be cut. Like, what do I need to remove to streamline this process?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, just stop drinking.
Yeah.
And that the biggest thing is like, I stopped drinking, stopped doing shit. And like, now I'm locked in. You feel me? And I lost like 40 pounds just from stopping drinking.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I bring that up, and I actually go to therapy, bro. I started going just this year. I'm only 24 and shit, but I started going because of the pressure of being an entrepreneur, and then some situations that have happened this year. But yeah, bro, I started going, and I think I was already kind of mentally tough, and I was already kind of knowing how to speak to myself. Learning that through Patrick with David, watching his stuff, and watching another guy I would recommend to you is Andy Frisella.
Oh yeah,
you like him?
75 hard?
Yeah.
Nah, it's not for me.
I created a watered down version called a 60-day challenge, bro.
It's hard for me to watch a podcast where one guy's just talking shit to you. Like, I don't need that shit. Like, I've been. My dad's kind of like that, and
I like
it's
that.
it's not the teaching process that I need. Like my dad's a hard ass like that.
Well, he's actually the reason why I know how to speak to myself. Like he's the reason why I know how to speak to my little bitch voice, and he's the reason why. Yeah. I mean, and when I started going to therapy, and I started realizing what therapy was really about. I came to realize that this guy that used to talk shit to me every day on my fucking, in my headphones is right. You know what I'm saying? You just need to figure your shit out and stop, and don't victimize yourself and just go out there and go get it. And, I feel like a lot of men, because sometimes we don't have that homie love, the fatherly love. We don't know how to talk about it. We don't have a platform where people talk about it. And that's kind of why, I'm kind of grateful we're touching this subject a little bit, because depression is real, anxiety is real, and then anger is real.
Yeah.
And some people don't understand that they're angry until after they did something.
Yeah, I was an angry individual for a long time, and then I'm big, so like if I'm angry, fools are getting fucked up. things are getting destroyed. But you go to therapy, right? Like, does she tell you what to do, or she asks you, or he?
It's a homie.
Does he ask you what you're going through, or does he tell you like, hey, bullet points, do this and that? Like, what is the process of going to therapy?
Hell no, if homie's just asking questions,
right?
And then he, like you said,
but asking the right
same
questions.
thing, yeah, asking the right questions and making you think your own decision. And if you, he pretty much, your therapist doesn't want you to regret nothing. He doesn't want you to overthink anything. He just wants you to make sure that everything you do, you're doing it with 100%. Like you're doing it like that. You're happy with that decision.
Yeah.
As long as you don't regret it and you're not killing yourself for it.
Right.
Or
that's
something
dope.
is not bothering you. That's their whole mission.
Yeah, and I think a lot of a lot of homies, a lot of us look up to our dads or grandpas or fucking famous people. But like, we don't have enough mentorship, like there's not that many success stories to go around where every 50 Mexicans has one guy they could go to. Like, a lot of these business guys are really successful because they pay for mentorship. But they pay like thousands of dollars, $30,000 for an hour call. There's people who charge $500,000 for an 8 hour call, and like, we don't got those resources yet. But I feel like mentorship is very important for a young man and shit. Like, even these podcasts, I feel like I'm being mentored by the podcasts that I listen to. Like, this is free mentorship, for people. Yeah. And you don't have to always listen to the guy that's at the top. The people that are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you or even below you to remind you, like, hey, I don't want to go back down to that spot. Let me keep fucking going up. You know what I mean? Like, mentorship is also something that, being prideful, being a Latino, we're very prideful. We don't want to listen to other people. We want to do it on our own. Because I hate when people are like, oh yeah, remember that one time I helped you? Like, bitch, if you're going to rub it in my face, you should have never helped me in the first place.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is why I kind of always try to give everyone their flowers or try to give everyone their props for everything they've done to me. Because like, if I give you my props now, you can't hold that shit against me ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm like, yo, shout out to this guy,
But also like bullying to me is just holding each other accountable. Like, my son, he's really good at bullying because I bullied him all his life, and
I was a bully in my childhood too.
So sometimes I gotta tell, hey, like, you can't bully your own teammates. Like, those are your homies, those are your fucking soldiers you're going at war with. It, your teammates, your classmates. Like, you have to be careful and understand who you're gonna bully. Some people react well to bullying and some people don't. Some people get sad and go tell their mom,
Yeah.
And some fools be like, you know what? I don't want this fool to keep punking me about I fucking keep striking out, so I'm not gonna strike out next time. You know, like bullying, you have to also be like wise and be able to bully. You have to know who you're bullying, dog.
Yeah, I'm laughing, bro, and I'm literally dying right now because I used to bully the fuck out of my baseball team when we would lose because I would go try hard.
Yeah.
Like, I played travel ball. I played.
What position did you play?
I played second base.
Okay.
And then I played left field too. That was more like the secondary position, you know. I'll show you my glove after. So it's a Mexico glove. It has the Mexican flag and everything on it. Huh?
What brand is it?
It's not. It's capture. It's a custom.
My dad has his own line of Mexican gloves.
Oh really? I'll show you it. It has where my parents are from. It has my last name on it and everything.
That's tight.
Anyways, and I remember I used to tell him like, bro, you guys could, if you would have caught this foul ball, we would have gotten out of this inning. We would have gotten out of this jam. We would. I
was a pitcher, fool. Trust me, I know about.
You know, my whole thing was like, fuck, bro. Like I'm second base, bro. My thing is to try to help the pitcher out, and then obviously not let anything go past me.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like when something's getting hit not to my direction and it's not going the way I wanted to go, I should tell them something, bro. It got to the point where I got down with my fucking fellow teammates, bro. Like the coach had to get us and walk us and like talk it out and everything. But I had a point where I got down with some teammates. I got balls thrown at me because, you know, I would bully the fuck out of them. Like, bro, we're here to fucking win. We're not here to lose.
Yeah, but there's some fools that are on the team just to be on the team, you know. And
I came to realize that because some of them were forced by their parents.
Yeah, and to me too, like I was a pitcher too, and I was part of a high school that one year we're really good and the next 3 were really bad. And it took the love of baseball away from me where like I hate to lose, you know? Why am I fucking pitching my heart out and you can't get a ground ball and throw to first, dog? Like we've been throwing balls to first base since we were in T-ball, dog. Like you should be able to do that by now.
Yeah, and that's the same way I felt. That is the same way I felt.
You know, it's like, you know, I wish I was I used to always be like, man, if I would have went to fucking Chatsworth or I would have grew up in fucking this city and went to this high school, like my shit would be different. You feel me? But like, it's one of those things where like, you know, it wasn't meant for me. But I also was lazy, dog. I didn't want to put in my freshman year, fool. I made the varsity team, right? And we went 30-5 and went to like the semifinals or whatever. But I was only good enough to be a pitcher. I'm a first baseman, pitcher. I could play third and I could hit, but I was only good enough to pitch, right? So our whole practice would be like a 3-hour practice every day after school. And the coach would just make me run.
Were you 6'2" as a pitcher?
I've been this size since I was in 8th grade.
Motherfucker, yeah. You would have scared me. I would tell you right now. I remember when we used to get the big boys pitching. I used to be like, because I mean, bro, I was a 5 foot something Mexican kid.
Yeah, and then
then the big ass white boys used to come with 6 foot, and the pitcher was like your size, bro, husky and everything. And I remember one time I got hit by a guy, and I was gonna rush him, and then the team was like, yo, you forget he's like double your size. I'm like, oh shit.
I was a very aggressive pitcher. You know, I grew up watching baseball with my dad in the 90s. You know, like Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, fools will throw the ball right here. You know, and then throw you an outside curveball. Like I was a very aggressive pitcher.
Bro,
like,
I went through some guy like that, and that's one of the time I got hit, and I was gonna rush him because he threw one inside, he threw one outside, and then the second one he threw 2 inside and it hit me. I went like that and hit me in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, that guy
a couple
was
times
aggressive.
And we were playing travel ball.
That's probably you, fool.
And a couple times in travel ball, fool, I hit some fools in the head, and the ambulance had to come get them off the field. And a lot of kids would be like, "Oh, I don't want to pitch no more. I don't want to hit nobody. I'm scared." I'm like, nah, I'm staying in the game. I'm still gonna pitch. Like,
did you ever get in trouble or anything?
Nah.
Damn.
And I was always down to get down. I've always been like that. Like, fuck it. Like, they will get mad. Like, hey man, what the fuck? I'm like, fuck you, bitch. You know where you're at. You're from fucking whatever. You're from you're from the Orange County. You're in South Carolina right now, but I'll go over there and fuck you up. You better shut the fuck up over there, dog. In the middle of the field, and the parent, hey, I'm like, fuck you too. You know, like I've always been super aggressive like that. Because when I'm on the field, fool, it's like, you know, that mentality where like we're at war right now. You know, there's no homies and shit.
I used to cleat motherfuckers.
Yeah, but I was always very aggressive, dog. And you know, now recently I've kind of toned it down.
Yeah, I was the same way when I used to cleat them. Like because I used to be big on stealing bases, and I was quick, and my coach knew that, so he would always send me to steal. And when I knew I was out, I would purposely. Woo,
right. Hey, you're just a dirty baseball player.
Hey, that
I will hit him by accident, my boy.
Let me put it this way, bro. That right foot was not on the dirt. That right foot was up, and it was going straight to your fucking shin, fool. And it was because I was out. I knew once I seen the ball come.
That's why you kept getting hit.
What? Well, no.
I would dose you the next time for sure.
I was gonna say no. Well, no, that was only once, but that was that was in the opposite team. I'm talking about that was beef with my little league, and then I went to travel ball. When I was in travel ball, I would clean. Yeah. When I would see the ball and I knew it was out, that rifle was up. The rifle was up. And then they would be like, like, I remember just hearing them, you didn't see that? And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And I would just be like, this guy's tripping, bro. And I walk back to
that's also old school baseball. You know, I was raised with old school baseball too. Yeah, showing up. The game of baseball is very different right now. It's a lot more flashy.
It's chess and checkers.
I like it. I like the flashiness, flipping the bat, you know, being all happy and shit, like screaming when you get somebody out. I like that shit, you know?
Yeah, no, I was always like that, bro. And like I said, bro, not that I was a dirty player, but man, if I was out, bro, I was not gonna take it lightly, bro. You were gonna get a cleat to the shin real quick to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
It came to the point where motherfuckers wouldn't even stand in front of the base anymore. Mostly if you stood in front of the base, I was like, game time. I was like, game time. That shit is bleeding right now. Because, you know, we have metal cleats. It's a lot different than any other sport.
Fools would not, fools will get out the way. I've always been the guy when I'm coming, fools get out the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would get out the way, but I mean,
I've never had that problem.
I feel like they see me.
And I wasn't stealing bases, though. I'm slow.
I was gonna say, I feel like they seen me and they're like, this was my side. What is he gonna do? And then, you just see the right foot coming straight to your shin. Boom.
Fucking using weapons and shit. Sick ass fool.
But with that being said, man, I mean, I'm glad that we got to get this interview in, bro. Is there any advice you could give me on this podcast game, bro? Is there anything you could give me to help grow, bro? Because to me, at least, you're in a level I would like to be. Right. And with all due respect, bro, I see you now as someone I'm like, I guess you could say like a big homie in this game now, because I'm now that we're more in contact with each other, I'm definitely going to be asking you more questions on what to do and stuff like that. But if you could shoot me some advice.
Right now, I'm posting 3 clips a day. Okay, so I don't post once a day. I post 3 times a day: 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. typically, right? And I collab with whoever I'm posting with. So like tapping into other people's audience is huge. It's huge. I used to post once a day. I've tried it all: 7 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m. I've tried all these different algorithm things, and it comes down to like the first 2 seconds, the song you pick. You got to be more strategic, the letters and shit like that, the captions. So posting as much as possible on every fucking, like I post on Snapchat, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and I don't post to Twitter because that one for sure doesn't work for me. For some reason, I think my account is like blocked or some shit. But just post the clips. So if people see you enough, you got to show. Okay, social media is like middle school, fool. Like if your homie moved and he didn't tell nobody, in a couple days, everyone forgot about him. Right? What happens to this fool? Oh, he moved. All right, fuck it. Let's move on to the next shit. You got to show up every day on social media. You got to show your face. You feel me? And for a long time, I also would post clips and not even put myself in the clip. Like I'm just like, nah, these fools like. But I started putting myself at least in the front of the clip in the beginning, so fools could recognize my face. I put my logo on everything, everything I post, and replying to people, being humble and shit like that. But like, I would suggest the main thing is to make a lot of clips and post every day. Well, I don't post on the weekends. I'll be honest. The weekends doesn't work for me. For some reason, when I post at fucking Saturday, Sunday, it just doesn't work.
All right, Easy, we got to get on point, bro. We got to get the reels in, and I got to get good with the posting too.
What's your reels? So timing for you, because this is always something we talk about, timing, even just YouTube videos when you post the actual podcast.
Right.
Does it, for you, did you find a time that really affects how many views you get? Because for us, I feel like personally, I don't think it really matters. I think as long as you have good, knowledgeable information on the podcast, the views will come in.
Yeah, once you have people that are really fucking with you, no matter what time you post, you're going to be on there. But on YouTube, if you go to your analytics or whatever, it'll tell you when people that are subscribed to you, when they're on.
That's what he was showing me the other day. Yeah.
So
I just finally unlocked that feature. Let me tell you, because it takes a while for you to finally see that. YouTube does not allow you to see that until you reach, I think, a certain number, maybe views. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't see that for a long time until recently.
Yeah, and then so what I do is I post on. Well, I use Anchor to broadcast my fucking pod on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I release my episodes at 6 a.m. because in my head I'm thinking the people waking up. This is what I do. I wake up in the morning, I take a shower, and I throw a podcast on while I'm in the shower getting ready. So for those people, they need something to listen to. So I post at 6 a.m, right? I feel like that's what time people usually get up, right? I used to be a truck driver, so I used to post at 3 a.m. because that's the time I used to wake up to be a truck driver. And then on YouTube, I post I release my videos at 2 p.m. So on the drive home from work, you want to post something fresh, and for it to pop up to be one of the first things on your phone, when you open your phone, if you post it at 6 a.m, it's not going to show up. There's all the other people that you're subscribed to have already posted after you, so that video is going to pop up first, right? So you want to use those fucking impressions to your advantage and shit like that. But yeah, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m, I post Mondays. I have my interview show, which is a LITOUTLET podcast. I interview fools with interesting stories, entrepreneurs, people that I think are just have like something cool to say.
Oh yeah.
And then on Fridays, I might switch it to Thursdays. I release the episode today. And on Fridays, I have a comedy show called The Brown Militia, where I invite comedians or different podcasters, and we talk about current events, things that are going viral, and we make fun of it.
So it's kind of like a Theo Vaughn type thing?
I can't watch Theo Vaughn. I love Theo Vaughn clips, but watching the whole podcast for him, he's like, one time, like it's too slow for me. It's too slow for me.
But I'm saying it's Brown Militia is kind of like similar to like how that like how they just pretty much cut the shit, chop it up.
Yeah, but like Brown Militia is like I invite at least 2 people, so it's usually 3. Like yesterday we did 4, right? I did a comedian, 2 comedians, and a podcaster and me, and fools that just are not afraid to say stupid shit, you know? Because I feel like to me the Lit Outlet is an entertainment company. It's like MTV, BET, each one. It's the way I see it. Where like I want to have a podcast every day, maybe 2 podcasts a day. I just don't have the people right now, the staff to do that. But eventually, eventually I will get to a point where I want to post like maybe 2 podcasts a day and then turn it up with the clips, maybe 10 clips a day. Because a lot of times you see these really big channels or the people have a lot of followers. They're posting like 6, 7 clips a day. And then sometimes, dog, I'll do my thing. I'll post it at 2, 3 p.m. And then those they got 1,000 views on Instagram or 500 views. It just didn't work. And I used to get upset and like, fuck it, move on to the next one. Like hurry up and just do another clip. And sometimes they'll hit and sometimes it don't. And you just gotta, put your head down and keep going.
Keep going, yeah.
What do you think so far of my podcast, bro?
I like it, dog. I like it because I feel like I relate with some of the shit you say because I'm not your typical fool. You feel me? Is that on recording?
It just turned off. I think the storage just fucking...
Just keep going.
Yeah, it's okay. This is the end anyway. So, but yeah, you keep going for sure.
Yeah, so...
A lot of technical difficulties today, man.
It's all good, fool.
Yeah.
But yeah, fool, like, just want to keep posting, dog.
Okay. Yeah, no. No. But going to my podcast, what do you think of it so far?
So you remind me a little bit about me because I'm not your typical fool. Like, I've been in jail. I'm a convicted felon, right? I've done whatever time not a lot of time. I only did like 3 months, whatever. But I don't focus on that. I like to grow as a person. I feel like you're talking about money and politics and like a different point of view is always something fresh, and I like it, dog. I like what I need the name Latin Wealth. Like it's dope, So,
no, the Latin Wealth Club. Let me correct that because there's actually another podcast called Latin Wealth.
Okay, Latin Wealth Club. So
Gotta be specific.
Yeah.
I gotta say that, bro, because I don't want there to ever be
confusion,
copyright or anything like that in the future. But yeah, it looks like we're outgrowing them though. So
Cool.
Not trying to throw shade or nothing. It looks like we're outgrowing him. Looks like we're doing numbers on him, and he's actually been posting a lot more, and he probably has 40 podcasts over us. So
yeah, and then I want to thank you for inviting me, dog. This is only the second podcast I've been on the guest on.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing where like I wouldn't do every podcast, but I'll be down to be on more podcasts. Yeah, because I like to talk and shit. But on my podcast, I let a lot. If you watch some of my podcasts, I'm not really talking that much. Yeah, I'm just asking questions, listening, trying to guide the conversation, but. I'm not really...
That's what I started doing.
Yeah, I'm not really like talking my ears off and shit, like talking people's ears off, because if I invite you to my podcast, I want to hear your story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's definitely why I wanted to have you on. And that's another reason too. Is like, I kind of feel the same way, man. I'm like, damn, I want to be on a podcast too. Like, I'm tired of just being the interviewer. Like, I want to be interviewed.
Yeah, I think, you'll get there. It's just like, people want to see some merit, want to see some achievements. So want to make sure that what you're going to say is going to be dope. Yeah. You feel me? Like, and I'm barely getting to that point. And it's why? Because I'm starting to get some success. Right?
Ooh, yeah.
So you have to be a little successful to be on there. Because there's fools that hit me up. I'm gonna be honest, dog. There's fools that hit me up. They want to be on the podcast and they got no motion. They don't post. I don't like the style they post in. They're using too many filters. Their page looks kind of weird. And fools that if I interview somebody and they're gonna gain way more than me by being on my podcast, I charge them, fool. I charge them like $100, $200, $300, depending who the person is, just to be on it because I know the work I'm gonna do to this podcast, and they're gonna move up regardless. Now, obviously, I also don't pay people to come on my podcast, which is kind of contradicting. But the people who see value in my shit is the people I want in my podcast. I want you to be excited to be on, and you know that we're gonna be posting clips for some of my clips. I'm still posting clips from an episode I did 3 weeks ago. You know, like I do like 8-9 clips per episode, and I post one every other day for that person. I get sponsors. People sponsor my podcast. That's been the biggest help.
How do you find sponsors?
I just hit them up. Like, hey, we're looking for a sponsor. I'm gonna leave your logo up on the full episode, and every time you post a reel, your logo's gonna be on there. I'm gonna add you as a collaborator, and I'm gonna tag you in the caption.
And how does the pricing go?
The same, fool. Sometimes if it's a small company, it'd be like $100. If it's like
per episode, or how many episodes does that include?
Just one.
Okay.
I've offered people, it's like, hey, you can sponsor this whole month for like $4,000 if you want. The whole month will be yours. And then no one has bid on that yet, because I think there's these fools that do vlogs. I think they're called These Fools, and they were like sponsored by Plug and Play, and they changed the name from their YouTube channel from These Fools to it was called Plug and Play. And then every episode will start off with a commercial with them, and then like everything was sponsored by Plug and Play, and I'm sure they got a bag for that, But
that's kind of like selling your soul though.
A little bit. Like I always feel weird too about like getting sponsored by like a weed company or like an alcohol company, because I don't do that. I don't really smoke weed or drink no more like that. So
I would never do that just because I wouldn't want to promote that.
Exactly. So
You know?
I like to use like small, like a Chinese food. The Chinese, shout out to Mr. Yu and fucking in Claremont. They sponsor like I love Chinese food, so fuck it, I'm doing that one.
Oh.
I did fucking I did who else has sponsored me? Fucking Straight Royalty Clothing. They did it. Mariscos El Campeón in Southgate sponsored me. Small business. I really like to fuck with the small.
You know
people.
what? I appreciate that. No, because I do have a couple connections here in San Pedro when it comes to at least Italian restaurants. Because I used to work in the Italian. That was like my first job ever.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm about to give a couple calls out and see what we can do.
Especially if you're not even monetized yet, fool. Like if you want to do like $50, even $20, because I think you have to train your audience or your people to start giving you money. I have a Patreon where it's $1 to join the episode, the Patreon, and you get to watch the episode early, like a day early, 2 days early. But like starting to train people to give you money is, I think, important because you can't just start off like, oh, it's $1,000. Like, nah, you gotta like, all right, $20. I started with $50 when my first sponsorship was $50 an episode. I'm up to like 200, 300 right now.
Nice.
As the numbers grow, you can increase your price, but I think a lot of fools want to off the gate, get rich, and I think you gotta start off slow.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna start off slow, bro. But you know what, that Patreon, man, it's probably gonna have to work out. And you know what, to promote crypto, I'm gonna, we might have to do something where you donate in crypto, and you get it a day early. You know, I mean, just to promote the crypto that we're promote that what we're promoting, which is investing in crypto, real estate, stocks and stuff like that. Real estate we haven't touched on, but we've touched on crypto and stocks. And pretty much, bro, I started this because I wanted like Raza in our community to start investing money.
Yeah.
Stop holding cash and start putting your money to work for you. Right. Going back to WFG and all that, teaching them financial literacy, huh?
What branch of WFG were you?
I was never in an actual branch. I was only 16.
So you never joined?
I never actually joined, but I set appointments and I actually got paid under the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I actually put in the footwork. So I do know how the system works and everything. I just didn't like the recruiting system. That's why I never really followed through.
I was really good at recruiting too. I think my team, the biggest team I had was like 15 people at one point. I was just good at it, dog. And the only reason I got into it is because I was dating a girl who got into it, and then she got me into it. And then at the end of the day, I liked it more than she did. And I think we kind of broke up over it because I was like, focus. I was focused on the business more than focused on her because I saw the potential in it, But at the end of the day, nobody wanted to buy life insurance, so we're selling the product that nobody wanted. The supply wasn't, or the demand wasn't there for the supply we had, right? But we would stay late for the meetings, and our fucking our fucking whatever CEO of our fucking team, whatever, will like give these fucking badass speeches. Fool. It'll be 12 p.m. when we leave. I'm like, I'm ready to fucking go to war right now. Like, I gotta go to sleep. But that fool was badass, and he drove Ferraris and Lamborghinis. That fool had a badass house. Like, he was rich as fuck because obviously
is he still rich?
That fool moved to Florida.
Okay.
But he still runs the same team. I think he has like 600 people on his team and shit like that. I still talk to fools that are still part of it. The fools that will never give up on that shit. And I know fools that have left too. But like, if it works for you, it works for you. I feel like I got what I needed from it. the 2 years I was in there, and then I bounced. I got out.
With me, on the other hand, I would say accidentally fell into it, but the tools it gave me definitely changed my life.
Yeah, some good shit, dog. They taught me all about like self-improvement.
Yeah, hell yeah. But with that being said, man, this is the end of the podcast. Is there any final words you want to say, bro?
Nah, man. Just check out the channel. It's called The Lit Outlet. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave a lot of comments. The comments are very important, especially if you fuck with this podcast. Leave lots of comments. Make sure you guys like all the time, because that's a way you can support the channel for free. Just click on the fucking button, and you can support that shit.
I appreciate that.
And then also, too, if you guys are watching this shit and you're a big fan of this shit, make sure every single time it pops up on your fucking feed, you click on it, dog. Don't be like, I'll watch it later. Watch it for 5-10 minutes, or put it off to the side, and then go back and rewatch it again, because every time you scroll away from it, it tells YouTube like, oh, no one likes this shit. They scrolled away. The impression didn't count. It didn't click, So if you guys see this shit, just click on it and watch it for a few minutes, even if you're going to come back and watch it later. That's what I recommend to the followers.
I appreciate that, bro. And I actually have to do a better job of reminding people. And that's one thing I always forget, because sometimes in interviews, I just jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm so excited, I just jump right into it.
Me too. Yeah, sometimes I forget to say that shit. And it sounds corny sometimes, but like, you got to remind people, like, hey, take a second to right now, go down there, click this like button, come back up. Let's keep going with the show.
For sure, man. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on, bro, and giving us the opportunity, because like you said, sometimes, when you feel like it'll benefit me more than it benefit you, you'll charge, and you didn't charge me, bro. So
yeah, no.
I appreciate. No, I just want to say that right now, bro. I appreciate that. But with that being said, this is the end of the podcast. All money and no money out. Stay dedicated, stay motivated, and we'll see you on the next one, Light and Wealth Club. Don't be a little bitch.